Hello everybody, welcome back to my Daily Dose with Tim. Today is Season 2, Episode 5. So I kind of thought, somebody already told me this seems a little clickbaity. However, I just thought, you know what, you gotta have fun with what you're doing. And I hope that it kind of got your attention a little bit more today as well, given that it's the last day of the first week already. So, on the path to pursue financial independence and financial freedom, there is one very crucial element that we all hate to talk about, and that is the B word in all finances. And so that B word stands for budget. You have to learn to control your budget. And I know it's not everybody's favorite word because at the end of the day, I don't want to feel very limited, because I think a lot of people just think that when you have a budget, it just means that you gotta constantly be cheap or be frugal. There's a fundamental difference between those two, by the way, as some of you might already know. However, the point is, today we're going to go over some of the major expenses that you have in your life. And so remember, Season 2 is all designed to develop that step-by-step process. So what we're going to do today is to really give you the opportunity to really identify every single expense that you're incurring in your life right now. And I'm going to give everybody about a week's time minimum to track them, to fine-tune them. And remember, this is a step-by-step process. We got 60 episodes, 12 weeks in total to do this. And we're at the end of the first week. And yesterday I promised that there's something special coming your way. And this is where we're going to be starting. Because one of the biggest things that we all need to get a hold of really is to gain that full picture and full understanding in terms of how a financial statement works. And so the reason why I am starting with your expenses, that basically directly relates to your budget, is simply because of the fact that this particular piece is something that really will determine how quickly or how slowly you can achieve financial freedom as well. And so I remember when I actually first started pursuing financial freedom, I decided to cut expenses. Why? Because a lot of you already understand, and this is what I say all the time. I mean, this looks like a swear. Usually it's a bit longer. Let's put it that way. How's that? So, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, which country you're raised in, where you work. We all, even on a personal level, have a revenue column. And most people, they will add to their revenue column from their just over brokes. And then you have your expenses. Once again, it doesn't matter who you are. Remember, there are two sure things in life, and one of them is taxes. Okay? So every single one of us have expenses. Even before we were born, there were expenses already. Our parents were probably out shopping for cribs, shopping for baby supplies, shopping for diapers, stocking up on formula, all that kind of stuff. And the government's already starting to keep tabs on you, okay? And so revenue minus expenses. So at the end of the day, it's about being in the positives, I hope, okay? The point is, when it comes to building financial freedom, as you guys already know, is that you want to make sure that you have enough passive income that will exceed your monthly expenses. And as your passive income grows, then you can start to expand on your lifestyle as well. So I understand that I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and including myself. One of the first things that we did, other than increasing our passive incomes or just increasing our income level, period, it was also really taking that hard look at where is our money going? Where is our money going on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? Because we sort of got really used to the whole, how much does it cost a month? Mortgage payments, car payments, cell phone payments, cables, Netflix bills, and groceries, and all that kind of stuff. That's usually the measuring stick, okay? And so what we're going to do is I'm just going to help you and give you some prompts here. And for most of us, let's just categorize them quickly. From a housing standpoint, if you do currently own and have a mortgage, then obviously you're going to have your mortgage payment. And if you don't, then you likely have your rental payments on a monthly basis, okay? And then with that, you probably have property taxes that you gotta pay for, and property insurance, or if you're renting, then it becomes renter's insurance as well that you gotta count into that. And in addition to your housing, well, you gotta keep the house running. So you have your utility bills, utilities, not knowing how to spell really puts a dent into this whole thing, doesn't it? So utility, and so you get water, you get electricity, you get gas, depending on where you are. Maybe you're paying for them monthly, maybe you're paying for them annually, biannually, quarterly, depending on where you are. So just make sure that you find those numbers for yourselves, okay? And next, well, just because you got a shell that runs, it doesn't mean that it's a comfortable place. So for most of us these days, we probably have our cables, if you do watch TV or the news or sports for whatever reason, or most of us, we definitely have internet at home these days as well. And if you got other subscriptions, so for example, Netflix or something else, Disney Plus, I think, or other things, I'm just gonna do it that way. So anything that keeps the house running. Funny thing is, I haven't done this one in a while. Home phone, maybe. Okay. And now, after that, well, we usually need to live. So what that really means is we need to be able to have maybe vehicle. If you don't have a vehicle, then you probably have a bus pass, or if you take Uber or Lyft, whatever it is that you do. Make sure you budget in transportation. Okay, I'm already running out of space, so I'm not gonna recategorize, but we're gonna call this part transportation. So if you have a vehicle, you probably have car payments, and you're gonna have to make sure that it's registered. Registration is definitely important, and it definitely needs to be insured. And also, you got your gas and your regular maintenance as well. Okay, and this is something that I need to put back up here is your maintenances. Doesn't matter where you live, even if you don't own it. Part of the maintenance that usually we put into is, for example, if you recently bought a new dining set, I would like you if you can average that out, because at the end of the day, that's instead of a lump sum amount that you have to pay for or kind of tucked away, we can do it as basically budget that into a monthly expense right there, okay? So from a car perspective, this is pretty much everything for a lot of people. I mean, unless your car is a very big toy for you, then you probably wouldn't be adding on too much. However, I'm gonna let you decide, okay? This is your life, your budget, your expense sheet at the moment. And if you're like me in our household, you have pets. So any sort of pet expenses. And for some of you guys, you're like, huh, I got a lot of munchkins in the house. So child-related expenses. So this is everything, everything. I mean, I know later on we're gonna go into the day-to-day stuff like groceries. So I would just like to make sure that from a child expense perspective, this is education, this is maybe extracurricular activities, this is maybe, you know, they got invited to a birthday and you got to buy their friends a gift to go to the birthday, or you got to make cupcakes for the school bake sales, for example, okay? So think of as many things that you would have to do related to your child or your children, okay? We tend to kind of underestimate that front a little bit. And next but not least is food. So food, you would do groceries, you would do maybe eating out. A lot of us are not eating out as much these days. However, takeouts, very, very common, or deliveries. So that all falls under the food category right now. Make sure you add it all up, okay? So I'm gonna write it out. Groceries, and then eat out. And then you have deliveries, and takeouts. Times are changing, okay? Our consumer behavior is changing quite a bit. And so, I know it's getting to the bottom of the sheet now, so I'm gonna just use a different color right now. And so on a personal level, a lot of us maybe have life insurance that we bought into, okay, that we need to be servicing for. If you're actually putting money away into a savings account, mutual funds, RSPs, regularly getting deducted from your bank account, that's something that you want to put in there as well. And also something that I call personal care. Okay, that's basically your, for example, your skincare, your soap. I mean, some people will probably put that under groceries as well. However, personal care, let's say if you want to go out to a spa, for example, get a massage, get a facial, even if you have benefits plan. However, if you do need to pay the deductible to cover those things, make sure that that gets factored in as well. And that reminds me, your dentist appointment or any other appointments. For example, if you do know that you probably get sick once a year and your insurance coverage for your medication is only 80%, 90%, not 100%, that will go into here as well for personal care. So your mani and pedi also goes in there, okay? And haircuts is a big one. We tend to forget that one as well. And so depending on what kind of a lifestyle that you currently have, this is usually a basic sheet for a lot of us. So what I would like you guys to do is to really take the time, okay? Maybe even start a spreadsheet, or you can write it out like how we're writing it out right now, and really go hunt for those numbers. And over the next 7 days, because what we're going to do is every Friday, I'm going to give you something to do now, actually, to get yourselves ramped up and ready so that we can keep inching forward towards the financial freedom goal, okay? So you're going to have the next 7 days to really comb through your numbers and fine tune them so that you get a very clear picture. Because later on, when we're talking about how you can plan a path for you to reach financial freedom, we're going to really relate back to this. Okay? If you can increase your revenue, incomes, and decrease your expenses at the same time, that gap gets a lot closer. And that means you're gonna achieve your goals a lot faster as well. And so this is probably not an exercise that a lot of people like. Don't get me wrong, I get that. It is necessary. It is absolutely necessary, okay? So make sure you do that. If you have any questions regarding this particular exercise, make sure you comment or you send me a message. Okay, so now I've got quite a few feedback over the last few days, especially from yesterday's episode. I just want to really make sure that everybody understands. Okay, so think about what it is that you currently do. Maybe you're a doctor, you're an engineer, you're an accountant, you are in an admin position, you're a banker, you're whatever it is that you currently do, okay? Just like right now, I see myself as a trainer, as a mentor, as a coach, as a professional investor, okay? So as a professional investor, for example, are all investors created equally? Just like on our power team, are all realtors created equally? Are all mortgage brokers created equally? Are all lawyers created equally? Not so much. And so I know a lot of you guys, like I said, I'm not being flippant with you. I'm just being a lot more honest and straightforward with you now this season because I just want to get to the bottom of the truth as quickly as we possibly can. And this by no means is to be, really bad talking anybody in particular, because I think a lot of you guys thought that I was making absolute statements about, for example, your power team members are there to give you advice, not to take responsibilities. Well, again, are you going to make them take financial responsibilities? And if they do, awesome, you got a power team member that you can keep for life. The point is, though, there are a lot of people out there on your power team because this is a business relationship at the end of the day. It's about creating win-win-win-win scenarios at all turns. And so when somebody loses and somebody else is still winning, well, then that's when you know maybe they're not the right people to be included on your team. However, you don't know in the first place, which means you don't want things to go sideways in order for you to learn that lesson. And that's the whole point that I am making with everybody, is that we are ultimately responsible for our financial well-being. If you want to grow rich, if you want to grow wealthy, if you want to really be able to live a life that you really truly deserve, build your passive income, build your wealth, whatever it may be. You got to remember, you only have yourself to account for, okay? You're fully responsible for your own financial well-being. And for some of you, you're not just responsible for yourself, you're responsible for so many others in your life. So make sure that you really protect it. Again, you guys know that one of my all-time favorite motivational speaker, inspirational speaker was Jim Rohn, or is Jim Rohn, may he rest in peace. And he just always says that, number one, things are not too expensive, you just can't afford it. Ouch. It's very true. That's the thing. And the other thing is, society does not require to build a financial security around you and your family. You have to demand that for yourself. And so that's really the whole purpose behind this. And the last point that I really want to make very clear one more time is the concept of JOB. So your job, you're just over broke. I know we kind of use that acronym just to make fun of it, to poke fun at it a little bit sometimes. At the same time though, if you really truly love what you do, doesn't matter, because what we are advocating here, what I am advocating here, is honestly creating multiple streams of income, because that's where true financial security and true financial well-being comes in. Because if one source gets cut off, you have other sources of income, no problem. We're not advocating that everybody needs to be able to walk away from their jobs, because you don't have to. And like I said, I didn't get to, even though I really did enjoy what I was doing. I did dream about firing my bosses. However, I didn't get to because I got laid off. And so, again, looking back, I probably would have stuck around because I did enjoy what I did. However, doesn't matter. That's history now. And it's not about me anymore. It's about you. Because that's what this whole thing all comes down to. Okay? All of us, we want to do this because we want to make a difference and impact in your life, hopefully, or just leaving this planet a better place than when we first found it. And so we've created results that have made us happy, that have served us well, and now we feel like it's that sense of duty that if an immigrant that moved here not really knowing the language very well, as of the minority group, had 3 heart attacks, constantly dealing with autoimmune disorders, can make a difference in his own life and some people around his, I'm sure so can you. You just need to reach out. And honestly, I personally believe in hand-ups, not handouts. And so more than happy to continue to add value in your lives as long as you come for the ride. You have to opt in. You have to reach out and say, yes, this is what I want to do. So make sure you spend the next few days, the next week, going over this entire list for yourself, okay? And if you like today's content, make sure you like it. And if you think that there's anybody that can benefit from the content that I'm putting out there, make sure you share it with them. I appreciate you, and it's been a fun first week being back here. So I look forward to the next week, and we will be back here for episode 6. Thank you everybody for joining me once again, and have a good evening and live well.